Hey everybody. Life got you down? Full of worry? Let's chill out and play FEZ. You're gonna feel better in a hurry. Welcome to FEZ. We're gonna be starting fresh today, as is to be expected. Well, let's get going into our journey. Well, good morning, little buddy. This is us. We're Gomez. We are chill little guy in a 2D world. What a fantastically relaxed game. I just really like how pretty everything is. We're gonna start off having quite the adventure already. Just basic tutorial rundown. Everything's pretty much as you would expect. That's the look around function. It comes in handy quite a bit later when we start running into some puzzles where it's nice to be able to reference up and down. Obviously we're going to need keys for any locked doors. This is a video game, and that's how things work. So let's hop on up and see what this old man has to say to us. What's the word? And it begins. Audio might get a little loud here shortly, so if you're chilling out, you might want to turn it down just a smidgen. Just a heads up for all those relaxing. Now, where in the world? I'm gonna leave these boxes up just because the language is actually translatable, as we're gonna find out later on. A big part of FEZ is puzzles and things you can really think over. One of the hardest parts about this game is actually figuring out how to decode the language and number system as well. We'll be going a little bit more into detail on that later, but just so you know, I'm gonna leave this open just so anyone who wants to can easily reference this part, particularly so I can reference it later on when we do have the alphabet. But for now, I think the confusion and misunderstanding is an important element of the experience. I think we're kind of immersed into what the character is feeling. And here is our first taste of 3D. I really enjoy the dichotomy that comes up here personally between, up to now, it's all been completely 2D, the cube was turning, and, well, now you're turning for the first time, and as I'm sure you know, that is a major element of this game, if not the most major element. And now, here comes the namesake of the game. And are you ready? Aw, dang! It's really hard not to be excited whenever that comes up. So let's turn this mother out! Do not adjust your video player. Everything is perfectly okay. That is fun though, isn't it? I notice the game just skips the menu and jumps us right in. Well, it seems like we did start the game over. Except, we'll look at that on his noggin. Let's turn this world around. As introduced, that was Dot. Sort of the Navi of this game, but fortunately, not too intrusive once we get past this opening. Oh, the children always wanting stuff. Ugh. FEZ. Here comes the best NPC in the game, by the way. Grandpa Nice Hat. That's his whole purpose. Let's check out what's in here. One of the first things you'll notice is there are two rooms next to each other. A little piece of gameplay advice: when you're on the opposite side of somewhere of a passage of that nature, you can press up and it'll just flip you around and put you through to the other side. Let's see what's in here though. Oh, good. Skipped a little dialogue there, but it's a key. You all know how it is with those. But yeah, so you can either just press up like I did there and it'll pop you right around, or rotate the camera around and walk out yourself. Turns out pretty alright either way. Apparently we were gone for some time. But you can read. Alright, here's another great element of this game. Like I said, this game requires you to think on your own, and I think it does a pretty swell job of that. For instance, those maps, it just gives you no indication, and it's good. It's good. I think it really benefits, and I just wanted to hear her story a second time just in case, but I really do prefer this game. It's actually surprisingly not hand-holdy, for something that's so, you know, simple to look at. Later on in particular, we're going to come along some very difficult puzzles, things that require a lot of thought and a bit of due diligence, so make sure you keep your eyes open, and we're going to take it slow and take it relaxed, but we're going to give our due diligence here and make sure we catch everything that's going on. This is probably going to be the least useful of all the classrooms to us, but we're going to come across some classrooms later that, to say the least, are going to be very important. I believe the cube bits were fairly well explained, but that'll be a quick run. It's a 2x2x2, or 2 to the third cube, which is 8, and once you get 8 of them, they slam themselves together and you get yourself another cube. Basically the power stars of this game. They're the means to an end, and those ends are doors, and those means are cubes. How neat is that? One of the more interesting characters in the game, of course. I'll let you guys ponder on him for a bit before we go into any deep discussion. I almost forgot to talk to this guy. Yeah, listen to that nerd. Anything is possible. I appreciate the little bits of flora and fauna in this game. Just little animals running around. It's nice to have little bits of things moving around in 2D pixel games like this. It adds a certain element of life to an otherwise static image. It's important to have, and I think a lot of game developers are missing that. Oh, fresh out the kitchen. A cube ripe for the picking. Well, let's head back outside. Nothing else in there for now. Oh, do we go for the treasure chest, or do we get our cube? Or do we be dumb and do neither? Oops. Yeah, we have more time to hang out. Not a big deal. Speaking of which, interesting bit of control advice. Once we get what's in this chest! What's in here? Can't open chest from behind, by the way. Alright, another key. It's always disappointing when you hit a door and don't have a key, and I'm sure we'll feel that bit of disappointment together. But we'll make it through, it won't be a big deal. But yeah, control advice. If you hold up, you're going to automatically grab whatever ledge. So we just got our first cube! Oh! Yeah. Good stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun here. Gosh, so, when you're climbing vines, if you hold up while you're hopping along, you're not going to hop very far, but if you hit A and then hit up again to recatch, you'll be able to hop up a little higher. This is nice too when you're descending, because it keeps you from having to crawl down. He crawls kind of slow. I'm going to demonstrate in this quick pro speedrun oh, shit. Okay, yeah, we're here to take it easy, I need to remember that. Not try and speed along, that's a rookie mistake. And so it is. Oh. Don't worry, that's the only time they throw that in. Let's climb along here. Oh, I gotta beat this bird. I didn't beat that bird. Maybe I can beat this bird? Nah, it don't really matter though. No achievements for beating birds. It's FEZ, we're relaxed. As far as I recall, none of the achievements are even based on any kind of speed or anything of that nature. It's all just about taking your time and getting everything done. And there's cube number 2. One thing you might notice that is pretty nice about collecting those cube bits, since there's 8 of them in a cube, it goes up to major scale. So each one's a note successively from the root up to the octave, and it's the major scale, so it just sounds pleasant, it sounds happy. Which is good, because that's how this game is. Another quick detail you might have caught there. The music and the sound effects are going to fade out a little bit, just a little bit, when we are behind an object. So when you see FEZ's shadow projected behind, it's gonna quiet down the sounds a little bit, muffle them. It's a nice touch. I really like it. This game takes a lot of small things into account. So let's try pulling up our inventory right now. I think Dot's got it right. That's what our inventory looks like for now. Artifacts. Won't be seeing any of those for a little bit. But let's continue. And here it is. The first real taste of free choice. From here you've actually got quite a few ways you can go, and now you're going to start experiencing some of the more open-ended portions of FEZ, which is going to constitute most of the rest of the game. It's one of the best parts about playing FEZ is once you've completed everything, everyone's seen all of it together, but everyone's going to have a little bit of a different first experience, and I mean, it's mostly just based on, well, do you take what's behind door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3? And you might not be able to do everything behind every door your first run through, in fact. Unless you're using some kind of hint book, you won't. It's gonna be rewarding for everyone. So our first little bit of rotation puzzling here. And we got a switch, but, well, Gomez just ain't fat enough. Dang it, Gomez. Should have bulked up before the journey, man. It happens. But as we're going to see, he may have bulked up a bit. We're going to catch that in a little bit. For now, let's climb up here. Hop down, can't miss those cubes. Unlike a lot of games where some of the small items you can pick up at random, let's say coins or... I mean, coins, that's pretty much the gold standard. I'm really sorry. Don't really do much for you. I'm looking at you, Super Mario Galaxy 2, just nothing but one-ups, but, you know, that's an inherent part of the game's design. In FEZ, getting those cube bits is very important. We got another key. It's good to have a stockpile, like I said, and well, that chest is pretty darn far out there. I don't think there's any way we can get out there for now. Keep it in mind, we'll probably, well, surely, we'll be visiting here again. No stone will be left unturned or chest unopened by the time we're done with FEZ. Whoop! Forgot you can't just plop it down, you actually gotta get on first. Now Dot won't actually talk to you until you set it down. Maybe because you're squashed so small your ears aren't open. And you know, I know how much everyone wants to see that secret passage, but we're gonna wait on it for now. I want to make sure we are plenty relaxed before we try racking our brain on any of these harder puzzles. It's not a terribly difficult one in there, but, well, it's one of the first. So I fell down like a bunch of times on that little drop there. Just so you know, it was Just kept trying to press down too many times and, well, fell right off. So don't make that mistake. It's it's quite embarrassing. And what's in this chest? It looks like another map! And so it is. Let's take a look, shall we? Another map looks very similar to the first. A good thing to note about this, if you use the look stick, you won't be able to see all the way around the map, but if you use the turn button, as in the rotate the world button, you can actually see all the sides of the map, and you might ask, why is that important? Well, we'll see here a little bit. Oh gosh. Oh man. Oh. I'll have to copy this out in post. Yeah, oops. I'm real sorry about that. Oh well, happy mistakes. No big deal. Just remind you how relaxed this is. But either way, as I was saying, turning the map's going to become very important later on, as we'll see, but that comes a little while down the road, and the number one thing you don't want to do in FEZ is get ahead of yourself. No reason to. We'll just relax and take it one step at a time. For a while here, those steps are going to be fairly obvious and not too terribly difficult. Even though, you might see me mess up a little bit, because I'm kind of bad at video games, but don't tell anyone. That's okay, though. It's just a little bit of platforming, climbing up. Turning around, gotta use these outcroppings, and here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Nothing too bad. Gotta pop through these doors. Oh, but where do we hop to now? Oh, go to this little hollow on the back. We're gonna hop around, pop right back on through, hop up, and pop on through again. Whoops. For the most part, if you have the option to rotate, and it'll make any kind of movement, it's probably forward. You're probably doing the right thing. And there's our first full cube pickup, which is very exciting. So here's our first small gate. It's going to take us back to where we started, as I'm sure I will let Dot explain. Huh? Well, I had a lovely time, everyone, and I'll see you next time on Let's Hang Out. Chill with FEZ. Later!